Hey guys, it's Nacarelli back again, and I thought I would do a little bit of a slowdown part two, if you will, on the new Speedmaster Moonwatch Professional from Omega that just got released earlier this week. I posted an initial kind of reactions mini review video already on the watch. Talking namely about some of the key upgrades and really going over the bracelet. The second video, I thought I would just, now that I've had the watch for 72 hours, thought I would talk a little bit more about it and kind of break down the video and really just spend some time letting you guys see the watch, because I was obviously pretty excited in my initial video, and upon reviewing that, we really didn't get a chance to see this in any kind of high def or I know you just want to kind of ogle at it a little bit, right? We want to see this, quote unquote, in the metal. So I'm just going to take some time here and just kind of show you guys the watch, a couple different lighting angles. If I can get up close to the watch itself, and for those who didn't watch the initial video, this is the new Omega Speedmaster with the 3861 caliber coaxial master chronometer movement that just got released in 2021 a few days ago. I'm going to focus in on the dial here because the last video's picture quality was pretty poor. And this is the Hesselite version with the solid case back. And let's see if we can get on in there. So this is the new and improved or upgraded, if you want to call it that, engraving on the back of the new watch. And it says flight qualified by NASA in 1965 for all manned space missions. The first watch worn on the moon. It's a lot going on there. The in 1965, as I pointed out previously, is the new addition for that text. And then around here in this polished beveled area on the case back, you see coaxial, if I can get it here, master chronometer moonwatch, yada, yada, yada. So obviously that reflects the new and improved movement. And on the front side of the watch, so I kind of get the angle here, you can now see here the stepped dial, which is new for this model. That just means you can see there's a little ridge that kind of intersects with each hour indice right there, about 3/4 of the way up, and it goes around the dial. That's actually a raised area to add some dimension and effect. Let's see here. You can see it down here in the lower corner or upper corner. It's hard to get the right angle. You only really notice this in bright lighting conditions or in direct sunlight. But it does add a little bit of more interest to the dial itself, just some additional architecture going on. The other main change, which we couldn't see in my last video, is that dot over the 90 marker here on the aluminum tachymeter scale, right? This is still aluminum. If you want a ceramic tack, you have to go to the 3-2-1 movement, which is going to be 5 figures. So this is still, again, true to form with the aluminum bezel, and it looks great. You can see there that step dial. The text is a little different from the outgoing model. The sizing of the fonts and the alignment of the fonts are a little bit, just changed, a little bit more symmetry there. I don't have the old model here to compare, but if you look at side-by-side pictures, you will see just that. Now, I've had this watch for, again, just almost 72 hours, and you might be able to see there in some of the reflections on the crystal. I've already got a couple of scuffs on the plastic, on the Hesselite. It's not really showing up here too well. You can kind of see the reflections up here by 12 o'clock. I've got a nice couple of scuffs there. You can see right there where I'm putting my thumb. You can see the striations of some scratches going on. They're not deep, and that was just simply from, I had the watch on, let's put it on my wrist here, And if you did watch the other video, I'll make a correction. I mentioned I had a 6.75 centimeter wrist. Obviously, that would be a very small wrist. I have a 6 3/4 inch wrist. I don't know what that is in centimeters, but I just wanted to point that out. So here it is on a 6 3/4 inch wrist, and it fits really nicely. I've described all the fit and feel in the previous video. But as far as Hesalite goes, just, when you're considering buying, maybe this model versus the Sapphire version, be advised that, these plastic crystals, I'm trying to organize here, scratch pretty easily. You're going to get scratches. That's part of the charm. It's part of what you sign up for. It's part of the character of the watch if you go with the plastic crystal. And all I did, to incur these scratches was I was just plugging in an outlet behind and reaching behind a desk, and this was just brushing up against drywall. And it already, put some scratches in. You can, if you run your fingernail over them, you can feel them in the plastic. The first scratches are always the most painful. Everything else after that is just character building and battle scars. So I'm just going to try and slow it down here so you guys can see it. Now again, on the wrist with this new and improved bracelet, I've taken, actually, since the previous video, one more link out of the 6 o'clock side and put it into the 12 o'clock side for a little bit more, just better balance. It was kind of just final tuning here because of this small clasp. Let's take a look at the clasp here. Let's take it off. So you guys can really see this now in better definition. So it's got this embossed Omega logo here at the top of the clasp, which is a really, really nice feature. And then there's these striations cut into the metal, which are really nicely well done. But it is a small clasp. I mean, I've mentioned that before. Here's my pinky finger. It's, lengthwise just a little bit longer than my pinky to the first joint, and widthwise, this is 15 millimeters. Again, I was trying to figure out how to best measure this. It's about the width of my pinky finger. So I don't know what size fingers you guys have. I don't have large hands. So I mentioned before, it's fairly small. But it's also unobtrusive, that I'm starting to enjoy this small clasp, very much so. It retains this fine pin adjustment system, and I do appreciate still having the pinholes here to just, put. I usually use my wife's earrings. Just put one in there and just move it around. She doesn't like that too much. That's the inside of the clasp there. So that's it. That's all you get. There's no ratcheting, push, fine-tune adjustment system like you'll find on the Planet Ocean or the Speedmaster. It'd have been a nice, I think, inclusion here, to be honest, for the additional price. And you can see the underside of the lugs. They're nice. Bracelet feels very light. See, there's the end links are solid, but they don't. Again, the bracelet feels kind of chintzy in a good way. I mean, it's definitely like a retro vibe, this whole thing, especially when you get it in the plastic crystal version. $6,300. You're paying for the movement. You're paying obviously for the name, and obviously it's been keeping really good time. I actually went on the website, Omega's website, looked up the Metas results because you get the Metas card that you can access, your results from when it was tested. And I'll talk about the testing here in a minute. And it was running at a full wind, plus 3.84 seconds per day in the 6 different positions, fully cased up. And my timing on this, just with an app on my cell phone, has been consistent at about plus 3 seconds a day. So, and I've been wearing this continuously since I purchased it, meaning wearing it all night and over and everything else. So, it's seen lots of different positions. No pun intended there. So you can see the sides of the watch. Now, there's been a little bit of a change in the lug shape, and it's reduced the overall lug-to-lug diameter by about 0.5 millimeter in total. It's subtle, but they do curve down in a little bit more of an aggressive fashion here. And this middle case is thinner. And the proportions are really nice on the wrist. And that's again over the outgoing model. I've talked about the bracelet at length in the last video, so you guys can watch that if you are so interested in hearing more about this bracelet. You can see the other side here with the signed Omega crown. The crown has been enlarged for easier winding, although I still find it rather difficult to pull this out. The good news is you don't have to pull it out to wind it. That's never been the case, and it's not the case on this one. It does feature hacking seconds, so let's see if I can show that here, if I struggle pulling this crown out. Oh, there we go, I got it. So you can see the seconds hand has stopped. And now I've messed with my timekeeping that I had it going on, so it's not going to make me happy. But that is a new feature to the movement as part of this Master Chronometer 3861 upgrade. It now features hacking seconds. I was going to talk about the power reserve a little bit more, but I don't think I need to. There's the back side of the clasp. I'm going to come back and mention a few other things about the watch, but the other thing I thought I'd mention is what you get with it. All right, let's put this guy out here. It's hard to stand up because of this little flimsy bracelet. So I showed the box and the kit and everything before in the last video. But you get the Spaceman box. It's much smaller. Now, one thing I found out when I was playing with this that I know another person who's got a video out there already showed, but as they say, I arrived at it independently. This is when you pull this out of the box here. I know it's small because I got the camera zoomed in. It looks just like 3 little cubbies, for your box, your cards. You can throw anything you want in here. But I noticed this strap, and I was wondering what that strap did. And then you come to find out that you can close the whole thing. And it becomes a nice little carrier box, like a little mini box, which is kind of a neat little trick. I'll never use that, but I thought that was cool. Nice little find when you're messing around with this stuff here. So that's the box. And then in the case, you also find, I didn't have an old one that had that big box. So you get this booklet, which has all kinds of stuff talking about the watch and pictures of NASA and Buzz on the moon, all kinds of neat stuff. All right, Apollo 17, driving around Mare Tranquillus. All right, so we'll put that away. So, am I happy with the purchase? After the initial kind of honeymoon period has worn off, I get a lot of watches, so the honeymoon period generally wears off pretty quickly for me. Yes, I'm super happy. I really am quite enamored with this watch. Let's see, I have a strong light here. Let's see. I was going to see if I can do a loom shot. Now, you see if I put this little aggressive white light on it, you can see some of the scratches now showing up on my crystal. You can see that step dial pretty good. Let's get in there close. Yeah, there's those scratches like that. See the step dial looking pretty good. It's a nice, deep, rich black color. And let's see what kind of lume we get here. And there you go. All green lume, which is nice that they kept the original lume instead of going to the blue color. I think it's just a nice throwback. So it's it glows nice. I mean, the watch is only, again, I don't know from when the time it left the factory to the time it showed my wrist, but it probably hasn't been too long. So looms up nice even distribution of lume applied. Couldn't be happier. So it's, again, where I was going with that last comment was, what are the pros of this watch here? Why would you buy this, right? Who is this? Who would buy this? I guess, as part of it. Again, I think if you need a watch that you're not, going to go swimming with, or that you like to have a chronograph function here for the stopwatch feature, and you just like the history of the Speedmaster and you like the aesthetic, this is obviously a great watch to get. Is it the best chronograph on the market from a pure chronograph perspective? I'd probably say no. I know that's probably a heresy for a lot of Omega Speedy fans out there, but again, there's no denying this watch's provenance and heritage. I paid my own money for this one, and no discount. Obviously, being one of the first to get one, paid full retail at the boutique. They don't discount anyway, but I don't think it competes really with the Rolex Daytona. I mean, they're different classes of watches, and you can't ignore what Breitling does with their BO1 movement, or whatever they're calling that these days. With the fully automatic and what is it? The column wheel chronograph movement. So there's some other really nice options out there if you want a sports watch. $7,000 to maybe $10,000. You get into the $13,000 range when you're going to a stainless Daytona, if you can find one. And then of course you get the choice between this model with the plastic crystal, which will save you a few bucks, will save you some weight, which cannot be understated how light this thing is. I weighed it in the last videos, and it weighs less than the Rolex Explorer that I have. But again, you have to understand that it's a plastic crystal. It's gonna scratch. I had half a mind to go pick up the Sapphire model as well and have both of them, but that's not financially practical. You can't have two of the same Speedmasters. We can't have two Cocos, as Mr. Kruger liked to say. So that's it, guys. I really just wanted to slow the video down a little bit and let everyone kind of get a good look at this watch in a little bit of a better definition for anyone who wanted to just kind of see it and ogle at it. It really is living up to the hype. This movement, probably I'll close out with these statements here. This movement, to me, was really what made the watch worth waiting for. As I mentioned in my other video, I was itching for a Speedmaster, was actually negotiating on one with an authorized dealer on the outgoing model. And, I still, that model is a great model, and that watch is awesome. But just, again, like sports cars maybe, when we're talking about sports watches, it's all about the technology and the advancements that go into these models while keeping, that familiar shape and aesthetic, almost like a Porsche 911, right? The movement, to me, was really what made me so compelled to spend the premium to buy this new one over, saving a substantial amount of money and buying the outgoing one. When I think about the Moonwatch, and I think about, a really robust, technical, almost engineer's watch. And again, that's obviously stemming from its history with NASA and space exploration. But even with that said, the outgoing watch's movement, while very reliable and been in service for a long period of time, I don't think just by today's standards kind of, had the stuff, didn't have the right stuff. We want this watch to be capable of a lot. And part of that capability is going to be the resistance to magnetism, the accuracy, when we think about, the stopwatch function and, doing, lunar module engine burns out there for course correction to save our skins. We want to think about inherent accuracy. So, the old models weren't even, chronometers, and now we've got a master chronometer, a big leap. So that definitely is worth the premium. The bracelet takes some getting used to. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. I think some people are going to say, man, this doesn't feel like a nearly $7,000 watch. The pro is the lightness and the comfort. The con is it feels cheap. It feels cheap. Yeah, I mean, if you guys pick this up, you'll see what I'm saying. You know, the side links are polished, which is nice. But there's really a charm to all that. So anyway, very pleased. I won't make any more of these unless I have any major issues. But I'm really eager to see what other people's experiences are as these watches start to get into the hands of collectors and enthusiasts. I've really been enjoying wearing mine, and it's been keeping good time, and it's been getting some scratches, which is all part of the experience, and has been very comfortable to wear. So if you have any questions, you can, of course, hit me up. Be happy to answer them. But yeah, I'd recommend just going to your local boutique or authorized dealer whenever these kind of come out more in mass, and go play with them, go try them on. And if you don't like the new bracelet, you don't care for the price increase, because it is an increase, MSRP over MSRP of nearly over $1,000 for the plastic crystal versions, then you might end up finding a good deal on some leftover outgoing 1861 models. All right, so yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and that's all. All right, as always, Nacarelli out.